threat, a cold dread washes over Ahmed as the wolf takes a slow, deliberate step forward, its eyes gleaming. The hilltop meadow bathes in the dying light, painted in fiery oranges and deep purples, as day surrenders to evening. A dark, menacing blur, a wolf lunges from the shadows, a predator in the fading glow. A piercing bleat rips through the tranquil air, sharp and sudden, signalling terror. The peaceful flock erupts in chaotic frenzy, scattering like whitecaps on a stormy sea. Ahmed scrambles to his feet, his eyes wide with a mixture of alarm and dawning horror. Chaos consumes the meadow, a stark contrast to the once serene, colourful landscape. The sun bleeds across the hilltop meadow, painting the sky with fiery hues as evening descends. Long, eerie shadows stretch across the field, twisting into menacing forms as twilight deepens. Ahmed's voice, raw with terror, shatters the stillness, a desperate cry piercing the fading light. His body trembles uncontrollably, eyes wide with a terror that eclipses his usual mischievous glint. He clutches at his chest, breath coming in ragged, desperate gasps, a heart-stopping fear consuming him. "Wolf! Wolf! Please, help me! It's real this time!" Ahmed screams, his plea echoing into the twilight. The last rays of the sun paint the farmlands in a beautiful array of orange and purple hues. Villagers, their backs aching from a day's labour, slowly gather their tools as dusk settles. A faint, distant shouting drifts across the fields, a chilling sound that pierces the evening quiet. The villagers freeze, their weary eyes meeting in knowing glances, a shared dread passing between them. Khalid shakes his head slowly, a deep sense of resignation etched onto his worn face. The shouting grows louder, a foreboding symphony echoing across the darkening field. The sun bleeds across the horizon, casting long skeletal shadows over the village farmlands. Sammy, her face etched with suspicion, scoffs, her eyes narrowing to slits as she surveys the scene. Around her, the villagers murmur, their faces tight with the bitter memory of past deceptions. A collective nod ripples through the crowd, a silent agreement born of shared mistrust. Sammy's voice cuts through the evening air, sharp and clear. "He's trying to trick us again." The evening sun casts long shadows over the village farmlands as villagers, momentarily frozen, resume their tasks. A collective sigh of dismissal ripples through the fields. It's just another false alarm, a boy's trick. Ahmed's desperate pleas echo, unheard and unheeded, across the vast, indifferent landscape. The villagers bend to their labour, their backs turned to the source of the frantic cries, their faces etched with weariness. The rustle of crops and the distant bleating of sheep drown out Ahmed's voice, swallowed by the evening's calm. Ahmed's pleas fade into the background, a silent, desperate prayer lost in the gathering dusk. The hilltop meadow, bathed in the dying light, becomes a canvas of orange and purple as the sun sets. Ahmed watches in frozen horror as a wolf, a dark silhouette, drags a sheep into the encroaching shadows. A raw, desperate scream tears from Ahmed's throat, shattering the crisp evening air, echoing into the vast silence. His cry for help is met only by the deepening gloom, a stark reminder of his terrifying solitude. The last fiery rays of the evening sun stretch long, eerie shadows across the silent hilltop meadow. A predatory wolf, its hunger now sated, disappears into the encroaching darkness of the tree line. A chilling, profound silence descends upon the meadow, heavy with an unseen presence. Scattered forms of sheep lie motionless across the grass, stark and haunting against the fading light. The tranquil meadow now holds a grim tableau, a testament to the brutal dance of nature. The deepening twilight casts a final, sombre veil over the scene, hinting at untold dangers. As twilight descends upon the hilltop meadow, Ahmed collapses to his knees amidst his scattered flock. The silence of the vast open land presses in, broken only by his ragged, desperate breathing. His gaze sweeps over the empty spaces where his sheep once grazed, a profound loss etched on his face. The distant, mournful bleating of his remaining sheep pierces the quiet, a stark reminder of his solitude. The evening air grows heavy with unspoken sorrow as Ahmed remains, a solitary figure in the fading light. He clutches the earth, the weight of his world pressing down as the last light leaves the sky. In the deepening twilight, Ahmed's face, once marked by mischievous grins, is now a mask of profound sorrow. Tears, cold and relentless, trace paths of despair down his cheeks, reflecting the fading light. The glint of his eyes, usually full of mirth, is now dulled by an overwhelming sense of regret. Each tear speaks volumes of a heart heavy with unspoken burdens, a soul adrift in its own grief. His features, etched with raw emotion, reveal a man utterly consumed by a desolate and crushing despair. Under the cold moonlight, Ahmed sits amongst his remaining sheep, the silence of the hilltop meadow amplifying his sorrow. His shoulders shake with a silent tremor, a profound grief emanating from his slumped form. The weight of his actions settles heavily upon him, a palpable burden in the stark moonlight. The moonlight casts long, stark shadows, reflecting the desolate landscape within Ahmed's soul. The morning sun stretches long, ominous shadows across the village farmlands, hinting at a day of dread. Villagers gather in hushed, sombre groups, their faces etched with a shared, painful understanding. The chilling news of a genuine wolf attack has ripped through the community like wildfire, leaving fear in its wake. Khalid stands apart, a solitary figure, his gaze fixed on the distant, foreboding hill. A visible pang of raw guilt twists Khalid's features, a heavy burden in the morning light. The morning sun casts long, eerie shadows across the hilltop meadow, its light unable to dispel the profound sorrow clinging to the air. Huddled and silent, Ahmed is a figure of utter desolation, a stark silhouette against the rising sun. Remaining sheep, their wool matted with dew, press close to Ahmed, seeking comfort in shared grief. Their soft bleats rise into the quiet morning, a mournful counterpoint to the silence of the devastated meadow. The once vibrant meadow is now stripped of its bustling life, an empty stage for unseen tragedy. Desolation hangs heavy, a silent testament to a recent, devastating loss that echoes through the tranquil morning. The morning sun casts long, ethereal shadows across the dew-kissed hilltop meadow. Khalid approaches Ahmed, his footsteps almost silent on the tender grass, a heavy silence between them. Khalid's gaze, a profound mixture of sadness and understanding, falls upon Ahmed, speaking volumes without words. His eyes,